Don't stop, we're in luck now. Don't stop, there's so much to be found. We can find paradise. All we have to do is go, go free your soul. Dragon Soul.
Oh boy, this is not going to be a fun video. It's just not. Because we are into the stretch of the very disliked Dragon Ball movies. And this is a movie that I used to think was average, but on this most recent rewatch, I just couldn't do it. There's a lot to talk about with this one. And then, afterwards, we have to review not one, but two piles of crack back to back. Well, I mean, except for History of Trunks tomorrow. But after that, we have to review the two god-awful Broly sequels. So we're into the stretch where I may or may not get a little angry, may or may not drop an F-bomb or two. And if I do, I will try to censor it, but I can't say any guarantees because the Broly sequels make me angry. Like, legit angry. So, I'm not really going to be angry with this one. I'm more just disappointed more than anything else. And coincidentally, it's the last DBZ movie, original of the DBZ movies that I own. After this, the only other two movies I own as of right now is Battle of Gods and DBS Broly. I don't own Superhero, I don't own Resurrection F, I don't own Fusion Reborn, I don't own Wrath of the Dragon, I don't own Bio Broly, for very obvious reasons, same with Broly's Second Coming, and of course for very obvious reasons I don't own Dragon Ball Evolution, because if I did, I'd probably be smashing it to bits with a hammer, so... Yeah, we're into the part where the marathon unfortunately starts getting critical and stops being fun. But I promise you this is just short-lived because I do like most of the sagas we have to talk about. I do have my problems with them, but most of the sagas, when we get to them, from Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super, I'm mostly pretty positive on. So, I mean, I don't even... So, this is just a little rough patch. After this, it's going to get positive again, I promise. Because we have to review this, which was a below-average disappointment. We have to review Broly's Second Coming, which is trash. And then Bio Broly, which is arguably one of the worst animated movies ever made. And yes, I'm not even trying to hyperbolize on that one. But after that, we have... Fusion Reborn and Wrath of the Dragon, two really good ones. And then we have Episode of Bardock, which is, horrible freaking dumpster fire. And then, after that, we finally get into the Super Quadrilogy, which is pretty much just all quality, with little minor nagging flaws. So, this is the rough patch of the marathon, and I apologize if my anger annoys or offends any of you. Okay? I just want to make that clear. Okay, with that preamble out of the way, what's up? What's happening? Welcome back to Animation Station, your number one suggestion for anything and everything animation. And welcome to my review of the frustrating disappointment that is Bojack Unbound. I don't want to waste any more time, so let's just dive right in and get this over with as fast as possible. Where to start with the summary? I guess we'll just go from the top and down, because I honestly don't care. Bojack is the main villain in this movie, and he's absolutely terrible. Like, no offense to the voice actor, he did a good job, but... oh my goodness, is the freaking character himself terrible. One of the worst villains in Dragon Ball. As stated above, his goal is to conquer the universe and destroy all those that stand in his way. He was sealed by all four Kais inside a star. However, according to King Kai, the seal broke when Goku teleported the ready to self-destruct cell to King Kai's planet, killing both him and Goku at the same time and allowing Bojack to be freed. That's literally all the reasoning of the villain right there. He's a space pirate, which is a cool concept, and if you know this channel, you know I love pirates, but this is one of the worst examples, because he's boring. He's boring, he's uninteresting, and he's cliche as hell. So, yeah, Bojack sucks as a villain. Having another World Martial Arts tournament funded by XS Cash. Get it? XS Cash? Ha 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 ha. Very funny. For his son's birthday, Mr. Satan invites everyone on Earth to a competition on a remote island. The Dragon Team, the Z Fighters, I don't know why they call it Dragon Team, it's stupid, all go except for Vegeta, and Goku, who is still dead with King Kai, wishes he could compete as they watch the competition on television. In the afterlife by the Edge of Snake Way. During the elimination rounds, Yamcha falls in the water while he's resting. Tien Shinhan loses to Future Trunks in a really good battle. That's one of the things I will definitely say about this movie. The action is top-notch. And Piccolo forfeits his match against Krillin out of disgust for the latter's poor attempts at fighting him. Gohan, Future Trunks, Krillin, and a large sumo wrestler named Duskle, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, reach the final, where Mr. Satan's students are dressed as aliens and are to serve as foes for the warriors. The tournament then moves to the much larger Battle Island 2, which has specifically built chambers underneath called Battle Zones, where the contestants will face off against the intergalactic fighters. Not bad. Not a bad concept, not bad idea. The fighters are loaded up into rocket-propelled pods that launch them down 4 tunnels that have the appearance of a digital computer grid-like world. Again, cool concept. Eventually, each of the fighters arrive in their battle zones, which are all different themes and biomes, which is actually really cool. Trunks arrives in a flowery meadow with a lake. Krillin arrives in a lava-filled cavern. Gohan arrives in a toy box-like area with oversized dolls. Yeah, that whole battle zone's just an acid trip. Blocks and balloons, and Duskoy, again, I don't even know how to pronounce his name correctly, I'm sorry, arrives in a desert. However, Bojack and his 4 men and 1 lady have other plans. Each of them has murdered the intergalactic fighters in secret and replaced them. Zanya encounters Krillin and is effortlessly defeats stupid freaking tripod, I can't even move my leg. Zanya encounters Krillin and effortlessly defeats him, mainly due to Krillin being mesmerized by her beauty. Because, you know, it's Dragon Ball. You gotta keep doing that joke over and over and over ad nauseum. Trunks is observing 2 pink mice before being ambushed by Kogu and chastises Kogu for using his lethal force. After realizing that Kogu's not one of the fighters, Kogu states that he is not to be trifled with. He then transforms into a larger version of himself. Gohan is amused by the toys around him, but is ambushed by giant blocks thrown by Bujin. Bujin then telekinetically rips the hands of a clock and tries to skewer Gohan with them, who disintegrates them with an aura blast. Which is cool. I will give it that, it's cool. Gohan chastises Bujin for using lethal force, but before Bujin uses his psychic powers to change the area's appearance from a child's toy room into a deep, dense forest. Duskoy is ambushed and brutally murdered by Beto, who violently strangles him to death with just 1 arm. This is pretty much entirely pointless and only serves to show the fact that Bojack has another member of his crew. Aside from that, this scene is pointless. To this, the audience screams in horror, and Tien and Yamcha decide to investigate. Mr. Satan tries whatever he can to avoid getting involved, believing them to be more powerful than Cell. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, I guess. Kogu and Trunks' battle, one of the only good parts in the movie, has led to a Victorian-style city resembling London, and Kogu manages to get the upper hand on Future Trunks, dominating over him. He tells Trunks to surrender, then tries to cut down the Saiyan with his devilish blade, a name that came from the games. But Future Trunks turns into a Super Saiyan and blocks the sword attack with 1 arm, breaking it in the process. And then Future Trunks then kills Goku by forcing his fist through his chest and out his back. Like I said, one of the only good parts of the movie is this fight. As Future Trunks wonders what is happening, he is attacked by Bojack and knocked out cold. Vegeta senses a strong power level and decides to fly to where Future Trunks is, bringing his son's sword along with him. I can't talk today. Gohan senses a powerful energy level and flies to the arena where the unconscious Krillin and Future Trunks lay. Yamcha and Tien try to help take down Bojack's crew, but they are easily taken down by a few hits because they're mere humans. Gohan turns into a Super Saiyan and tries to fight them, but he is unsuccessful. He is about to be hit by Bojack's full power energy ball when Piccolo uses his special beam cannon to deflect it. Like I said, the action's still top notch here. It's just everything surrounding the action is lazy and lame. Piccolo tries to fight Bojack but is overwhelmed by his might. Gohan rushes to save him, but before Bojack can finish Piccolo, Future Trunks intervenes by shooting lots of ki blasts. Bojack protects himself with a Psycho Barrier, just an energy barrier, just a big circle energy shield thing, and it doesn't matter. Future Trunks decided to charge at him head-on, but was intercepted by Bujin's psychic threads because, these guys are cheaters, not playing by the rules, and will kill anyone that get in their way. Which drains him of his energy, causing him to revert back to his base form as Beto took this opportunity to throw a sharpened metal piece at Future Trunks. Vegeta saves him by throwing Future Trunks' sword in the way of the sharpened projectile. Future Trunks swiftly caught his sword in sheath and equipped himself. Future Trunks is one of the only good parts of this movie, if I haven't made that clear enough. With only Gohan, Vegeta, and Future Trunks left fighting Bojack and his gang, Vegeta and Bojack were shooting ki blasts at each other only to outmatch Vegeta and transform into his final form. Future Trunks rushes to save him but is intercepted by Zonya and Bujin. Vegeta is later taken down by Bojack when he is transformed, already went over that, while Future Trunks is getting beaten down by Zonya, thanks to Bujin's psychic threats to hold him in place because, these guys are dirty cheaters. And is later knocked out by Bojack's galactic blow to the chest. Eventually, Gohan is the only one left fighting. He tries to fight Bojack and his gang, however, Bojack is so powerful that Gohan is almost killed. Even though Mr. Satan tries to flee the island, he is sent by the audience to fight the aliens, and accidentally helps Gohan out of a tight spot. That's the beauty of Mr. Satan's character. He doesn't mean to help and he tries to escape, but he ends up finding ways to help anyway, even if it's unintentional, and it is hilarious. So, yeah. Oh yeah, this is also Mr. Satan's first movie. I almost forgot. But Bojack fires a ki blast, causing Mr. Satan to fall to the ground. Comically, the ground he falls on has his shape when he touches the ground. That's hilarious. I will give him that. Bojack then tells Gohan that he hopes for the latter's sake that Mr. Satan wasn't his cavalry, with Gohan expressing outrage in response. Bojack proceeds to grab Gohan in a deadly stranglehold, or a bear hug, but whatever, also saying that he wants to thank Goku for freeing them and that killing Gohan would send him a message. Goku is angry at what is happening to his son, even asking King Kai if there is something he can do to help, to which King Kai only replies by shaking his head. Gohan screams in pain, only to show his teammates out cold. After all seems lost, Goku breaks the rules and uses instant transmission for a very short moment to free Gohan from Bojack's grasp, punching him in the face. After this, he talks with his son, then goes right back to the other world. Okay. Many people consider this moment to be badass, but I do not. I consider it to be frustrating, and Goku in this movie has now become pretty much a plot convenience. Meaning that without his help and without him appearing, Gohan would have just straight up died. That's not badass. That is contrived and lazy as hell. That is dumb. That is dumb, that is lazy, and that is just absolutely horrid. Like, you're trying to make a movie focusing on all the other Z fighters after Goku has already gone on to the afterlife following the fight with Cell. But then you decide to completely throw away that concept in the final few minutes by having him come back for a brief moment just to save Gohan from being, killed. Like, really? You couldn't have come up with a better idea? I mean, if Goku was like in the tournament fighting and everything, I'd understand. But, I mean, come on. And yes, I understand Goku is Gohan's father. He doesn't want his son to die. I get that. But at the same time, you could have come up with 1,000 other ideas to bring out the same result. So this is lazy, this is contrived, and this is almost entirely pointless. And not to mention, it grinds the entire plot to a freaking halt. You had a good idea, and you absolutely botched it. Congratulations, writers. Goku's word of encouragement gives Gohan the power he needs to stand up to Bojack and his men. Gohan once again transforms into Super Saiyan 2 and unleashes his power. Again, one of the only cool parts in the actual movie. Bojack tells Bujin and Beto to use their psychic threads to hold him in place, only to find out that Gohan is now unaffected by the technique. Gohan kills Beto and Bujin each with one hit, just like the Cell Juniors in the Cell Saga. Bojack is desperate, and Zanya is frozen in fear at the sight of Gohan's unleashed power as Gohan charges at them. Bojack callously betrays and kills Zanya by shooting an energy blast through her to kill Gohan. You killed your own member. Really? Really? Bojack is such a stupid, terrible villain. Gohan dodges the attack, with Bojack then proceeding to charge up another attack to throw down at him. However, to Bojack's shock and irritation, Gohan is revealed to be completely unaffected by the attack, causing him to rush at Gohan while angrily declaring he will kill him. Gohan then counters the rush attack by punching his fist through Bojack's chest and out his back. Just like Trunks did the Koju, except it's not even close to being as cool. As a last resort, Bojack powers up his Galactic Buster while sarcastically asking if Gohan had any last words before he dies, and Gohan in response prepares a Super Kamehameha, the only difference from the Cell Saga being he can actually use both of his arms. Saying that he did have one word that came to mind. The energies clash together, creating a blinding light through the street. In the blinding light, Gohan and Bojack go headfirst into each other, and Gohan punches Bojack clean through the stomach again, killing him. Gohan, Future Trunks, and Krillin are at the hospital healing from their injuries. The news says that it's Mr. Satan who saved the Earth, so Krillin and Oolong make fun of Mr. Satan about how he gets credit for saving the world while they are at the hospital and say other things about him in general. The movie ends with Piccolo and Vegeta shown on top of the roof in isolation. Because, we haven't ripped off enough movies. We need to rip off the ending from friggin' Super Android 13. And that's the movie. The story sucks. Plain and simple. You had a good concept, and it has its good moments, especially the Trunks and Koju fight. That fight is awesome. It is the best part of the movie. But your final battle sucks, your villains are garbage, and your entire plot is just lousy. Like, just dumb. Just stupid plot, stupid story, stupid. All around freaking stupid. Next up is the voice cast, and like I said before, this voice cast is still really good. They still do a good job. They're just not given good material to work with. So let's run through them as we usually do. Sean Schemmel is Goku, Stephanie Dodoni is Gohan, Christopher Sabat is Piccolo, Sonny Strait's Krillin, John Bergmeyer is Tien, Christopher Sabat's Yamcha, Eric Vale's Future Trunks, Christopher Sabat's Vegeta, Tiffany Vollmer's Bulma, Mike McFarlane's Master Roshi, Cynthia Corin's is Chi-Chi, Brad Jackson is Oolong, Monica Antonelli is Chaozu. That's all the returning ones. And then Mr. Satan's voiced by Chris Rager. He does an amazing job. I do really like Mr. Satan. He's always been one of my favorite characters and one of the funniest parts in the entire franchise. But I'm going to wait to talk more about him when we get to the Cell Saga. But he is a great character. And he becomes an even better character when he actually somewhat joins the Z Fighters in Super. So, yeah, I like Mr. Satan. He's a cool character. I like him. He's hilarious. He's cool. He's just a nice character. Alright, now for the other newbies. Bujin's voiced by Christopher Bevins. He does fine. Beta's voiced by Robert McCollum. He does fine, though he barely says anything. Colleen Clinkenbeard voices Zanya, who would also later go on to voice Kid Gohan in Dragon Ball Z Kai. She does a really good job, even though her character doesn't get to really do anything. Ethan Raines voices Kogu. He does a really good job. I love his back and forth with Future Trunks. Bojack's voiced by Bob Carter. He's fine. He does fine. Excess Cash is voiced by Grant James. He's fine. Mrs. Cash is voiced by Jamie Marcy. Marcy. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. She's fine. Colleen Clinkenbeard, I guess, back again as Monty Cash, so she voices two characters in this movie, and she does fine. Brad Jackson is Doskoy. He does fine, though he barely does anything. Bryce Armstrong is Udo. He's fine. Sean Schemmel's King Kai is always great. Christopher Sabat's Bubbles is great. Gregory doesn't have any speaking lines, neither does Sky Dragon. And then little baby Trunks is voiced by Stephanie Dolny, and then the narrator is Kyle Herbert once again. So, yep, that's the voice cast. That's the horrible story. It doesn't even have any licensed music. Like, bummer. Huge freaking bummer. I'm not even going into trivia because I don't even care. Like, this movie is such a frustrating disappointment. It could have been something really cool. Instead, it's just bad. Well, it's not flat out bad, but it's extremely mediocre. So, let's finish it off. Here's my written review, and then we'll get to the final verdict, and then it's goodbye, and I never have to talk about this movie again until the rankings. Great action, cool concept, decent pace that's neither fast nor slow. Good voice acting, some funny moments, okay designs, except for Future Trunks, who gets arguably his best design in the entire franchise. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. Future Trunks gets arguably the best design he's ever gotten in anything in the entire franchise. Because remember how I was praising how they had black tank top Trunks in Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan? Well, imagine that, but you still have his jacket, but you just take the sleeves off the jacket. Not to mention, he has his longer hair. Ignore that. But yeah, I love Future Trunks' design in this movie, arguably the best one he gets in the entire series. Some brutal kills, some cool moments here and there. Gohan Super Saiyan 2 and Trunks' fight with Kogu, for example. Also, Trunks' fight with Tien. It's short, it doesn't last very long, but it is really cool. But this one sadly has a lot of problems. The story is boring and bad. Bojack and his crew are terrible villains with almost no character whatsoever outside of just being evil for the sake of the plot. The writing is lousy. Goku being sidelined, while an admirable idea to stand out from the other movies, is handled poorly, especially when he turns into a plot convenience saving Gohan, which is just infuriating. Vegeta feels completely pointless in the overall story, pretty much doing nothing until the final battle. Like, you could cut him out and almost miss nothing. The dialogue's just okay, with no standout lines. The final battle is meh, even despite the brutal finisher. The rewatchability outside the fights is extremely low, and the 50-minute runtime feels way too long, with a ton of scenes that are there for almost no reason and have no bearing on the actual plot. Sorry to its fans, but this one's unenjoyably mediocre. It shows flashes of something that could have been really good or at the very least solid and okay, but it completely fails on its overall execution. Not flat out bad, but this is one that even as a massive DBZ fan, I definitely recommend you go ahead and skip. It's just way too flawed to be enjoyable. Definitely among the worst of the films in the franchise. Yeah, that pretty much sums up everything. Final verdict for this frustrating disappointment is a 4.5 out of 10. It's not even average. It is frustrating, it is unenjoyable, and outside of a few flashes here and there, it is a pain in the ass to sit through. Not flat out bad, but not even close to being good. Skip this one, do not bother. A movie's so boring and mediocre that not even Team 4-Star could do an abridged version of it. Shout out to my friend James Robotnik for that comment. So, yep, that's Bojack Unbound. Disappointing, pretty much a disappointing piece of crap. Like, it's not technically flat out bad, but I don't want to rewatch it ever again. And I only have it because it's on a movie pack. I would not buy this movie by itself. So, yep, that's that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow with something much better. History of Trunks. So, yep. I'll see you tomorrow for that review. Until then, thank you guys for watching. I'm Jack Small of Animation Station. Stay Super Saiyan. Screw this garbage. And I'll see you next time. Peace.